Good morning, good night, or good afternoon to wherever you are. If you're new here to my channel, I'm Melissa. I had planned to wake up early to watch the season 3 premiere of Only Murders in the Building, but your girl was tired. So tired. I'm pretty swamped this week with projects and whatnot, but I am going to come back later to watch the show and then chat with you guys about it, and I can't wait. What's up, you guys? I just got done finishing watching the first episode. Okay, I gotta start from the end because that's just how I do things. And if you're new here, hello, I'm Melissa. I do these very much like we're on FaceTime or something. I'm just talking to my friends about the show that we're all watching. Cool. So it was a ride. It was a doozy. I was asking myself, what was the point of killing Paul Rudd's character, just to bring him back? What was going to be the point of the show? What's going to be the new angle? But then he really dies at the end, and I just, right when it ended, I figured out, they needed him to die in the building so that it could be Only Murder in the Building. So that they could do it for their podcast. Wow. Okay. Paul Rudd's character is a very boisterous, extroverted, hotshot actor who is rude. He's very arrogant, and I'm happy he died. So we are also introduced to this cast of characters, which includes not only Paul Rudd, which I'm guessing we will see more of him from 4 months ago, because the show is doing that thing where it's going to go back in time with the present timeline and the 4 months ago. So we'll see how that goes. We're introduced to Paul Rudd. We're introduced to Meryl Streep. We're introduced to Ashley Park, and then also Jesse Williams. And then there is also a whole bunch of other actors that are a part of this new play that Oliver is directing. And I like this show within a show. I think the murder mystery aspect in the theater works out because there's dark corners, dressing rooms, there's the orchestra, there's so many places that somebody can hide and, be planning their little evil murdery plans. So I like the setup a lot. I'm really liking the show within a show aspect of it, because the show opens with this amazing, wonderful audition scene from Meryl Streep's character. And then we are reminded again why she is literally known as the world's greatest actress. She's an actor, IRL, right? Pretending to be an actor doing this auditioning scene, and it's gripping. I'm leaning on my seat wanting to watch her. The camera loves her. She has this beautiful monologue where she's auditioning to be a nanny for Oliver's new show, which is of course a murder mystery. She's so good. Now, I think it probably is too early to guess who the killer is, right? Because I've only seen the first episode so far. I'm going to watch the second one in a bit. But why else do you cast Meryl Streep? Is she here to not be the killer? I mean, let me know in the comments if you agree with me and you think she's the killer, or if you think somebody else is the killer. I just can't. I mean, it could be. I think they also set up, oh my God, what is Paul Rudd's character's name? Ben Glenroy. I think they set up his brother to be his assistant, to be the guy who secretly actually hates his brother. That would be a trope that we usually see in these types of shows. So it could be him. I am very excited to see. I forgot that Jesse Williams got cast in this. When I saw him pop in, I was like, oh, hello. Hot Doctor from Grey's Anatomy, how are you? I'm excited to see him in his role in this show. I want to see more of Ashley Park. Meryl Streep plays Loretta, and there's some sort of possible love connection between her and Oliver, because once Paul Rudd's character dies, when they thought he died the first time, she is like, well, the show's over, but doesn't that mean, the rules about fraternizing and keeping things platonic out the window? And we see a moment from Oliver's face, and he's just smiling at her I don't know, I guess. But then I guess that's going to be on pause now because the show is going to be back. Oh, wait, no. Paul Rudd's character died. So then the show was off for sure. Unless the show keeps on going. I don't know. I usually don't watch any clips for like the next episode. I just like to keep it like blind and fresh for you guys. In this episode, we also find out that Mabel is going to be moving out. Now that answers my question why she feels very somber throughout this episode. Like she's kind of very distant, very quiet. She seems a little bit more into herself more than she usually was in past seasons. And we find out that she's feeling kind of sad and lonely because Oliver and Charles are off having their own conversations and their own friend time. And she's been away, I guess, busy designing her aunt's apartment that looks amazing and fabulous. And so now she has told them that her aunt is selling the apartment and she has to move out of the Arconia in 4 weeks. So that is why she looks so sad, I suppose. She's grown so used to these guys who she didn't at first trust back in the beginning of season 1, and she's about to move out. I wonder if this is a way to plant the seed of Selena Gomez's exit from the show. I don't know. Again, I stay away from any kind of like clips or news and whatnot. Maybe I'll catch that on social media. I don't know if she has plans for leaving or maybe taking a break from the show. Are they going to introduce somebody else to be the third person of this trio? I don't know. But she looked so sad and it was kind of distracting. But then we're given the information at the end and then it's like, okay, now it makes sense why she seems so distant. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and watch episode 2 now. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree with me and you're happy that they killed Paul Rudd's character because he was awful. Ding, ding, ding. So at the end of the episode, they think it's somebody from his show, from Oliver's show that did it. Well, duh, it had to be because we know how this is set up. We're familiar with the tropes. I still think it's Meryl Streep. By this time, if you think it different, let me know in the comments. I liked seeing a different side to Ben, Paul Rudd's character, because in the last clip I told you guys that I'm glad they decided to kill his character because he was awful. But in this episode we discover a little bit of his origin story. So he used to be a child actor and he was on Brazos, which is Charles's show, and he got fired because Charles basically got the director to fire him for being a bad child actor. And that made Ben be incredibly insecure. It has scarred him for life to the point where this insecurity has manifested into him being an asshole, and he blames all that on Charles. On the one hand, I fully understand the trauma and PTSD from childhood trauma. It's something that leaves these scars, these invisible scars on our hearts and souls and emotions. But on the other hand, you are a full-grown adult. You needed to figure that shit out in therapy. How can you go on in life acting the way that you do and putting all this blame on one person? Guess what? The power isn't in your hands. Now, because you know where this stems from. You know where it stems from. That means you can do something about it. You can choose to do something better than just act like an asshole. So while I empathize with his childhood trauma, I'm not agreeing with his excuse of just, well, this is how I am now because of you. Like you're putting the blame on somebody else and you're not fixing your trauma. No. You know, Mabel in this episode gives us a bit more insight into how she is feeling. She is talking to ghosts again. It's not a ghost, but it's kind of like a manifestation of what she's going through. She's feeling kind of like lonely and distant and lost in life. But I have to say, I'm sitting here thinking like, girl, you are a talented interior designer who's got a hit podcast on the side as like a side gig. Like, you should be loving life. You live in this amazing, great apartment in Manhattan that is realistically none of us could afford. Like, why is she so down and somber? She feels like she's almost 30 and she feels like there's nothing going on in her life. I think her lesson this season and her arc is probably going to be, hopefully it will be her realizing all the great things that's happening in her life, because she's got so many things going on. A bit of a twist here. We discovered that the security guard for Ben is not only his security, former security, but he's high-key a super, super psycho fan to the point where basically his apartment is a shrine for Ben. He drugs Charles and Mabel because he thinks that they're the ones who killed Ben, and then Mabel and Charles are the ones who think he killed Ben. Woo, that was a lot. So They are about to be murdered, but then they are rescued by the police because in comes this new hottie McHot detective. Hello, hot people. He comes in, arrests the psycho security fan because they have been tailing him ever since they saw him leave the show the night that Ben died or was murdered, or I guess I'm confused as to when he was actually murdered now. So it's a big fake out. He actually is not the killer, but he was after the killers himself. And then we see Charles and Mabel coming up with a plan to investigate further because the handkerchief is the clue. The handkerchief is a thing that theater people wear in this play, and Ben was seen holding one. And then Charles also has one, but then the bodyguard also had one. So it's like, are we going to be tracking down everybody who has a handkerchief or hiding a handkerchief? And then are they the killer? Meryl Streep. I still think it's her. There's no way you cast Meryl Streep in this show to not make her character interesting. Like, why would she pick out this role? Why would she pick this? I mean, it's a media role for a reason, right? We got to think strategically here. There's no way she's not the killer. I could be wrong. Future me will laugh at past me. Let's talk about how some scenes were played out. I really like how they did that cross-cutting between Ben's monologue and his rehearsal with Oliver in the past, and then it's cross-cutted with Oliver in the present time when he's experiencing a minor heart attack. It is a really, really well done scene, I think, because this is something pretty serious that's happening, and then we're also hearing the monologue that pretty much mirrors what Oliver is going through. So many characters on the show. What Ben is going through. Sorry, what Oliver is going through. Sorry about that. And I thought that was really well done. I liked it. And again, I like seeing this kind of like secret side to Ben that we didn't get to see in episode 1. Another scene that I really liked how it was done was when Charles and Mabel are discussing what could have happened to Ben in the elevator, how he got a hold of the handkerchief. So I think this plays out like 3 different ways. Like, he could have grabbed it from someone's neck. He could have grabbed it from someone's hand. He could have grabbed it from wherever the fuck. And I really enjoy that. I think in season 2, at the end of that season, we didn't get to see the kind of like playback of how the murder was orchestrated. So I'm hoping that this current scene that we see in episode 2 of season 3 is letting us know that they're going to show us how the murder was done, because that was kind of disappointing for me last season, not being able to see how the person died. So I want to be able to see how this is all orchestrated by the end. So hopefully they do not let me down by the end of the season. Well, I'm officially intrigued. I think I will need to continue watching the season because I need to know if I am right and Meryl Streep is the killer. And I also want to see more from these cast of characters. I hope the setting of the theater plays more as a character in this show, because I think there's so many things you could do with that. So hopefully we get to see that. Thank you guys so much for checking this video out. If you like this video, hit subscribe. I most likely will be covering it week by week, but it depends how this goes. And hit the thumbs up. The thumbs up helps to elevate the visibility of this video. And honestly, it helps to motivate creators to continue creating content, because it's just me and my camera. I never know who's watching. It's just me and my cute dog. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys next time.